Hi there, welcome to the YouTube channel. Back again with yet another random commander that EDHREC threw up for me. I'm not sponsored by EDHREC, I should have said that in all my other videos. I'm just using their website because it's quite useful for picking random commanders. And this one comes from Planechase 2012. Vela the Night-Clad, four blue and black. Sorry, I don't know where red came from looking at the symbol. For a 4/4 creature, human wizard. Not great. Intimidate. Okay, can't be blocked by artifact creatures and all creatures that share a colour with it. So the only things that can block it are artifact creatures, blue creatures, black creatures. Notice Devoid creatures are not artifact creatures, so they can't block it either. Just as a little thing. Other creatures you control have Intimidate. Okay, it's great if you're playing in a pod where no one's got any blue or black creatures, but okay, that's good. And then, whenever Vela the Night-Clad or another creature you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Now, this card presented me with a challenge. I'm going to be honest, I had no idea where to start on this. And I did have a look at what EDHREC recommends, and they went down the Devoid creature route. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't like Devoid creatures. I just can't. I just don't agree with them. I know they're a key part of some formats, and I know that people love them, and they're all there. You know, everyone likes the Eldrazi, and I like playing them in an Eldrazi deck. But in other decks, I try to avoid them. So I tried to have a think about this, and I thought it might be fun to try and do something a little bit different with my version of Vela. So I've gone down this route, which I will talk about in a second once I've done what I usually do at the start of the video, which is the mana base. Blue and black lands all the way through. Because we're playing the black deck, Field of the Dead makes kind of sense in here. Whoops, wrong camera's up. There we go. So we've still got Field of the Dead here. That's here. Ice Tunnel, Islands, Jari Isle Refuge as well, just to gain a little bit of life. Everything else. I've also chucked in Obscura Storefront so we can go and get Swamp of an Island if we need it. Reliquary Towers here, Submerged Boneyard, Temple of the False God, because, you know, Vela at the end of the day is a 6 casting cost commander, so the ramp helps. Artifact ramp wise, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Charcoal Diamond, Jet Medallions, Sapphire Medallions, Sky Diamond, Talisman of Dominance, Thought Festal, Coalition Relic, and Solemn Simulacrum. There you go. Lots of ramp in this deck. You need it. You need to be hitting the big stuff, and most of our casting cost stuff is sort of like 4 mana upwards, to be honest, so it works. But as I said, I'm going to try and do this around a token thing where we can attack with tokens, and then when they leave the battlefield, everyone loses 1. I think it was a nice idea of doing it, and then just trying to get things going that way. So, how are we going to do it? Well, Brainstorm just to manipulate the top of our library. Greedy Freebooter, just when it dies, we get to do a scry and get a treasure token, which I'm quite happy with on a 1-drop black for 1 mana. That's fine. The first way we're going to kill our own creatures off is by scrying them. So, Viscera Seers here. And then make sure we get everything back from our graveyard into our library. Elixir of Immortality's here. Cyclonic Rift gives us a little bit of board control. Bounce everything back to their hands. Mana Drain to counter that big annoying thing you know is just going to wreck you. And Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Another way of sacrificing some of our tokens off. And any number of target players each lose 2 and sacrifice a creature. And we get to add a couple of black and draw a card. 3 drops. Geralth, Visionary Stitcher. Zombies you control have flying. Okay, I'll have my zombies for flying. And then you can sacrifice a non-token creature if you need to create an XX blue zombie creature token, where X is a sacrifice creature's toughness. Has its upsides. Bastion of Remembrance is here, just so when a creature dies, everyone loses 1 and we gain 1, and we'll be killing a lot of creatures off. Fane the Broker. I'm starting to get into Fane. Really do like this as a card. Sacrifice a creature, chuck some +1/+1 counters, remove a counter, get a treasure, sack an artifact, get an inkling, pay 4, start the whole process again if you want to. Flesh Carver has got Intimidate. I didn't include as many creatures as I could find with Intimidate in this deck just to follow the theme through. This one's nice. Sacrifice another creature, put a couple of +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies, you get a black horror creature token, whereas its power. That's pretty cool. Mogus Remorder gives all our creatures Intimidate and Haste until the end of turn, where X is our devotion to black. Now you can Alpha Strike with this. It's pretty good fun. Keep it in your hand until later on. I'm glad Theros gave us this card back in the day. Oath of Liliana, just a little bit of random sacrificing, and then zombies if we get some when we get planeswalkers coming into play. Toxic Deluge, control the board. Yes, it costs us life, but we should gain some life, so we should be okay. Woe Stride is just another sacrifice outlet and gives us a goat token. I have no idea why they made goat tokens for Woe Strider. There must be some reason I'm missing. So if you know the reason from what was it, Theros Beyond Death, can you let me know in the comments? It bugs me. Liliana, Heretical Healer. Yeah, we'll sacrifice a non-token creature at some stage to get this flipped into our Defiant Necromancer so we get more things back. That's cool. Aetherize is another way of keeping everything under control if we need to, along with Ether Spouts. They're both here. Master of the Waves is fun. I'm quite happy to play this and hopefully get a few elementals off it, but if we then sacrifice the Master of Waves, because that kills all the elementals, we get a whole load of triggers from here, potentially a whole load of triggers from wherever our 3-drop's gone, Bastion over here. Yeah. Not a bad shape. Not much blue in the deck. I know that. I'm very aware of it, but it's worth having a little try with it. Accursed Spirit is also here. It's got Intimidate, so 4 mana Intimidate is not great. Brainweavel's got Intimidate, but we can sacrifice it to make someone discard 2 who's annoying us. Forlorn Pseudomon is also here. Inspired, whenever it becomes untapped, you may pay 2 and a black. If you do, you get a zombie, a creature token. That's fine. More tokens for us to play with. Damnation controls the board. Alia, Cunning Conqueror, and whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, you get a Fairy Rogue, and then whenever one or more fairies you control deal combat damage for a player, go target creature that player controls. You've only really got these 2, to be honest, but it's it's a 2/4 flyer for 4. It's got Intimidate. It'll be hard to block in the air. Kato, Dancing Shadow. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may return one of them to its owner's hand. If you do, you may activate the loyalty abilities of Kato twice this turn rather than once only. Which is quite nice because then you can just lock down a couple of creatures that are annoying you, either +1 or draw a couple of cards. Probably not so much the -2. Probably going to do the +1 plus the +1 a couple of times for the first time. Bear in mind. Solemn Sim I've mentioned, Ether Spouts I've mentioned, Dreadbringer Lampards, Constellation. Whenever Dreadbringer or another creature enters the battle, or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gains Intimidate. It's got Intimidate, it's fine. Bring it in, do it that way. Endrick Sahar Master Breeder. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you get the Trolls. Now, be careful to make sure you never have more than 7 Thralls in play, and you've got a sacrifice outlet, either something like Fane, you've got the Viscera Seer, or you've got Priest of Forgotten Gods that is active, or Woe Strider. So you can make sure you keep sacrificing your Thralls off to them, so you always got Endrick around to give you more Thralls. Bear it in mind, it's a little bit tricky otherwise. Lich Knight's Conquest is just a fun way of sacrificing off our tokens if we need to, and then return all our creature cards from our graveyard to the battlefield. Tevesh Sat, Doom of Foals, gives us Thrall tokens to sacrifice every turn. That's nice. Nice way of gaining life, making people lose life. Akalazoltza, Deepest Betrayal. I still can't say this right. I'm really sorry if I'm offending anyone. Flying Lifelink for 5 mana. We all know what it does. It's the god that came in our last set. Lost the Canvas of Ixalan. Yeah. Go for that way. Draw a card. Discard stuff. Fine. Dictate of Erebos means when our creatures die, everyone else's creatures die. Probably do get target on your head when you play this, but bear it in mind. Lolth the Spider Queen, another way of getting creatures out that can be killed off, and loyalty counters go on Lolth. You gain, everyone loses some life. Fine by me. Open the Graves. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you get a zombie. That's fine. Cope with this. Puppeteer Clique enters the battlefield. Put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield as you control. Gains haste. Exile it. Yeah, fine. And this has persist, so that helps. War Chance with Mogus. When it inspired, when it becomes untapped, target creature you control gains Intimidate. Yeah, okay. Halo Hunter has Intimidate and takes out an angel. Not many angels around, but it's a 6/3 for 5 mana with Intimidate. I'll cope with it. That's fine. Eloise just gives us a way to investigate and get some clue tokens, and when we sacrifice a token, surveil 1. Remember, it says sacrifice a token. That includes any creatures you sacrifice, like your goat token, your zombie tokens, your elemental tokens from Master of the Ways if need be. You'll get a whole load of clues, which could help. Necromaster Dragon lets you get in with some damage. You pay 2 and you get a 2/2 black zombie creature token, and each opponent mills 2, so that can upset people. Blight Titan comes in when it enters the battlefield, attacks mill 2 and then incubate X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Okay. Geth, Lord of the Vault, had Intimidate, and it gets you a way to reanimate stuff from a graveyard. And it's not yours, it has to be opponents, and that player mills X, so it helps. Grave Titan, zombie tokens itself as Death Touch. Rashiska Debaser, 4 double black, for basically something that lets you nick something from a graveyard, and if it gets killed off, you can do the whole Encore trick, which will upset people even more. Tegwid's Skirring is here because it gives us, blows the board up, and we get 3/1/1 black fairy rogue creature tokens with flying, so yeah. Quite a nice way to make sure you blow the board up and have something to block or attack with if you need to. Mikius the Unhallowed has Intimidate. Whenever a human deals damage to you, destroy it. And other non-human creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Undying. So they come back, which is nice. Especially if it's something like Wormcoil Engine that comes back. Not going to complain about that coming back twice, are we? Aboran Overlord gives us a whole load of harpies and another way of sacrificing a creature each turn, so we're doing a little bit of draining. Blood Money blows the board up, gives you all the treasure tokens. Specular, Primordial. Enters the battlefield. For each opponent, you may put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So nick the good stuff. And Sheldred. We all know what the original Sheldred did. Yep, it's back. Eberus, the Binding Blade, is quite fun. So it's a piece of equipment that gives a quick creature +1/+0. 1 mana to equip, so it's going to cost you 8 to do, so it's 7 to cast. When it deals combat damage to a player, unattach it and transform it. You then get a 13/13 Flying Intimidate Trample Demon. Then whenever a player loses the game, put 13 +1/+1 counters on Withergreen the Unbound. Yeah. I suspect this will die quite quickly, but you've got to try and get at least sort of like a 26/26 attacking in the air, haven't you? Shirley, really? I mean, it can only be blocked by blackened, colourless creatures. There's not many of them that fly that get played in Commander, so it's got to be worth trying. Anyway, last 2 cards. Army of Damned just gets a whole load of zombie tokens. Yes, they're tapped, but if we're going to sack them off to scry and do things and make people lose life, we don't really care. And Clone Legion. If someone's got a really good board, just go and copy every single one of their creatures that's going. But that's it. That is my take on Vela, the Night-Clad. Last video potentially for this week. I may try and fit in time to do one more, so we get one out tomorrow as well. But, yeah. I was quite happy when this one got thrown up. Planechase 2012 had some fun memories for me. I still like the Planechase cards. I'm really hoping at some stage they get them on MTGO. I doubt it, but it'd be nice. But Vela, going to be fun playing this one on stream. Speaking of which, down below in the description, come and give me a follow on the stream channel. I stream on Twitch twice a week usually. Occasionally I get to do bonus ones when my wife's out in the evening. Thursday evenings and Sunday afternoons are my main time for streaming. I will try and fit in other ones when I can. I am looking at my schedule for 2024, so hopefully I'll be able to fit maybe in one more stream during the week. Beyond that, if you can sub down here, if you haven't already, appreciate it. Hit the sub button for YouTube. Seeing at 306 as I record this, my target for the end of 2024 is 500, so please, if you can help out, I'd appreciate it. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Anything you think I've missed out for Vela, let me know in the comments down below. I'll try and respond to it, and I'll catch you soon, either on stream or you'll see me in the next video. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.